Okay, so I thought this was kind of interesting. And I think there's some truth to this in some ways. I want to go over this news. So, a report from We Got This Covered. So, let's cover that first. We Got This Covered is a little bit hit or miss. They're not always correct, but sometimes they are. So, take it with a grain of salt. I want to stress that. But they're reporting Chadwick Boseman reportedly unhappy with Marvel's plans for a new Black Panther. Now, what they're, of course, talking about here is replacing him with his sister, Shuri. You remember the very smart genius, they alluded that she's smarter than Tony Stark. That's right. She's the smartest, bestest person in the MCU. She even showed up in Endgame for that out-of-place scene where all the female characters line up to have a girl power moment that really didn't make any sense. Like, why do they just all drop what they're doing to help Captain Marvel move across the battlefield? It was really strange and forced. That's the kind of stuff that doesn't feel natural, and that's what everybody nitpicks about. If you could make it work and it feels like it's a part of the story, people generally don't have a problem with, that kind of NPC stuff. But when you just shoehorn it in like that, it comes off as cringy. And just about everybody I've talked to thought that girl power moment was cringy, except for the 10% of wokeness on Twitter. They loved it. Shill media loved it. Normal people were like, what is this? What is the reason for this? Well, the reason for that is, the MCU is about to become the MCU, and that would explain why they want to replace Chadwick Boseman with Shuri. That would help push them to this more prominent female hero role. I think Kevin Feige was talking about he wanted half of the heroes to be ladies. It kind of sounds like they want over half of all the heroes to be ladies. It's what it kind of seems like. You got like She-Hulk coming, Captain America or Captain Marvel is the face of the universe now, and so on and so on. And now you're going to go ahead and replace Black Panther with his sister? Why? I don't understand why they're so intent on grabbing this 10% woke audience on Twitter. Like, it didn't work with anything else. Why do you think this is going to be the future of the franchise to bend the knee to these people? Preemptively. You just go ahead and doing it. It's just really strange. I really worry about the future of the MCU. It's sad to see it kind of fall apart like this. I don't know why you would just get rid of Chadwick. I think he did a pretty damn good job. And you're just going to replace him with Shuri for no reason, just to do it? I mean, okay. So anyway, they're reporting here that basically Chadwick hasn't been exactly thrilled with how things have been handled. But like I said, take it with a grain of salt, considering the source. But they're reporting basically that, as has been reported for a while now, the plan is for the Black Panther movies to eventually pass the mantle over to Shuri. That was first reported back in July, by the way, which has previously happened in the comic books. I know she took over for him while he was off Earth recently in the Ta-Nehisi Coates run. I don't know. I haven't kept up with a lot of Black Panther books, so I'm not too sure if that's entirely true or not. And while it makes sense to do so, Boseman is said to be pretty unhappy about it, which is completely understandable, as getting replaced as the lead in a multi-billion-dollar franchise isn't an ideal scenario for any actor. And while he's not exactly at the point where he's going to just walk away from the role, sources say that the star feels like he's being sidelined and doesn't want the title taken from him. Despite this, Marvel still intends for T'Challa to pass the mantle at some point, as they're really pushing for more prominent females on their roster of heroes. And as for Boseman, well, he'll likely stick around for another film or two, with the actor already locked in for the sequel to his 2018 solo outing, and is expected to return for Avengers 5, aka New Avengers, and I bet you that is what they're going to call the movie, New Avengers, because it really will be the New Avengers. But after that, it sounds like he'll slowly be phased out of the franchise as Shuri becomes the MCU's new Black Panther. So, I'm not sure how I feel about this news. I think that it's likely true. I think that they plan to change everybody over at some point, and they're just going to keep passing the mantles on as long as they have the universe going, and then eventually I think they will do a total reboot to the MCU. What it looks like when they reboot, I don't know. But I think that is what will eventually happen with the entire thing. They're going to have to. They're going to run out of all their A-list characters. And they'll just need to reboot at some point. Because you're going to be confusing people just as much as the comic books. Because it's like the comic books have so much history. But anyway, the biggest thing here is that they're going to replace him with a sister. And there's a reason that people joke and call Phase 4 the MCU, because it really seems like they're pushing this, we got to have a maximum number of female heroes. Kevin Feige has come out and said that, he wants over half or at least half of all the heroes to be women and all this stuff. And it's like, if it just happened through storytelling or whatever, I don't think anyone would care. But it's just the point that they're going out of their way to make this happen. It just doesn't feel natural. I mean, there's no better example than that cringy scene in Endgame where they all showed up and they're like, we got this. It's like, what is the point of this? It doesn't feel right. Just like this wouldn't feel right. And this guy's in his prime. I'm sure he wants to keep making that Black Panther money. Why wouldn't he? I'm pretty sure that the next one will do just as well as the first one. I don't think that movie was a fluke like Captain Marvel was. So we'll see what happens, but I think this is funny. This is just more woke pandering to people over on Twitter. And the majority of the news that comes out of MCU anymore is just them doing more woke pandering, which is exactly what this seems like to me. So say a prayer for the MCU, I guess. I don't know if this is true. I take it with a grain of salt. But I don't find it unlikely that they're thinking about doing this, because it's right up the alley of what they've been doing for the past couple of years, and it speaks to the future of what they want to do. So I feel bad for Chadwick. Man, he didn't even hardly get to play Black Panther then. They're already talking about replacing him with Shuri. So we're going to get rid of the big, strong guy, put the 90-pound girl in there, and have her start decking Thanos'. All right. This is why the shows like The Witcher and stuff are propping up right now, because people are looking for something new, I think. I think comic book movies are likely on their way out for a while. They'll have to retire it for a while. They'll come back eventually. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know your thoughts on this. What do you guys think about all this? I'd like to hear what your thoughts are. Do you think this is real? Do you think that it's likely they will replace him with Shuri? Give me your thoughts. Also, throw some likes up there. Share the video. That's also appreciated. And make sure you're subscribed. Subscribe if you're new. Hit that notification bell. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. Also, if you want to help support the channel, check out my Teespring store. There's a link in the description. You can find some merchandise in there that you might want to check out. Also, take a moment. Make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. There's something going on right now, and they've been unsubscribing people. So just take a second and double check on that. And subscribe if you're new.